So if I knew, then I could. We are going to start with an image. And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, I'll give you just a couple of seconds to take in the image. But I'm going to kind of first frame our thinking around what questions we can ask. And I'm specifically going to try to focus us on questions of quantity. And so, for example, what I mean by that is question, how many more, how far, how much, how big, how long. You don't have to limit yourself to those, but the questions of quantity. What questions of quantity can we ask? And so I'm just going to open the floor. And so Aaron is going to keep stock. So let's make them type as let's test their typing speed. So just kind of throw out ideas. And yeah, and anyone can start us off.
How many people can ride the Ferris wheel at the same time?
Awesome.
How many windows are in the building?
Nice.
How many pods are there on the Ferris wheel?
How many pods? And when you say pods, you mean like this
Hmm.
is a pod? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Could we say how fast does the Ferris wheel go?
We can say yes, we are in charge of ourselves. Absolutely. How fast does the first wheel go? Um,
Or does it have to be a how question?
it doesn't. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm encouraging us to think of quantity, but it doesn't A need to have how, but also it doesn't need to be. If you have a pressing question,
Well, I have
don't.
a I wonder because I was just doing see think question earlier. I wonder what the radius and or circumference of the Ferris wheel is.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, and that could be a how question. How long is the radius? How long is the circumference? Uh,
So, how far are those towers in the background?
Ooh, like this over here?
Yeah, how far is that?
Okay.
And how tall is it?
Right. How tall is the tower?
Hmm.
Okay.
How many vehicles can park in the lot?
how many
Yeah.
vehicles?
I didn't even see the parking lot. Awesome. Thank you. How many vehicles can park in this parking lot?
I'm gonna
Because
add
maybe
how
it is a
long is
ship.
a
I can't
ride.
s- I can't even
Like,
see
ooh,
that well. Maybe it's a ship, Cynthia. I cannot see.
Oh, the tower you're saying might be a ship, Cynthia?
Yeah,
I said I thought it was a ship, right? It could be both, but I thought it was a ship.
probably is. I wish I
Sorry.
could double my eyesight. There you go. That's what I need to double.
What about how much weight can the Ferris wheel hold?
Mm, cool. How much weight can the Ferris wheel hold?
How long has the Ferris wheel been there?
Nice.
Why am I thinking of Charlotte?
is that a quantity question?
I think so.
Who is Charlotte?
The web. Is that was it Charlotte's Web? It
Oh,
looks like
Oh,
a
Charlotte's
yeah.
spider
Web.
web.
I thought maybe you thought this was like in Charlotte, the city.
That's what I thought.
Oh,
I was like, North Carolina.
Oh. Any other questions?
How much taller is the Ferris wheel in the building?
Mm, nice.
how old is that Ferris wheel? How long has it
Mm,
been there?
hmm. All right, I'm gonna count 10 more seconds. Um, Mostly because I just want to show off that I just learned how to count 1 to 10 in American Sign Language, but also to kind of maybe that will generate a couple more questions, and then we're gonna keep going with the image. So don't worry, we're not done. But well, see, my plan didn't work. Everyone was so everyone was watching my sign
That
language.
was super interesting. That was the problem.
Um, okay, cool. Well, so I'm gonna get out of this and then back into it because oops, like I said, Aaron was Aaron was typing all of the questions that you all wrote. So just to have them there, and the image is still there. I recognize it's a little bit smaller. Um, but what I'd like to do now is I'm going to give you the name of the routine is if I knew, then I could. And so I'm going to pose that. I wanted you to have the questions there so you can kind of think about some of the quantities. But if there's questions that come up and other quantities that occur to you, you're not limited to this. Um, but I'd like you to kind of use that as a sentence starter. So if I knew something, then I could something else. Um, is kind of what we're spend some time talking about now, and Aaron again will record kind of our statements as best as they can. Um, but yeah, if I knew, then I could. And because we talk about this as instruction routines, and routines are something that I'm not going to assume this isn't a routine yet because we're just doing it for the first time. So, are there any questions about what I'm asking, like how what we're doing right now?
Like, like if I knew how big the parking lot was, I could say how many vehicles could park in the lot. Is
Yeah.
that the kind of thing you're
Mhm.
thinking of? Okay.
hmm I mean, technically, that's the kind of thing you were thinking of because you shared it. But yeah, that's the idea. Like kind of any quantity. So if you knew how big, if you knew the area of the parking lot, then you would know how many cars could fit there, like something like anything like that. Cynthia, is this our thinking time? Yeah, that's a good let's take 10 seconds just to kind of think about it in silence and then I'll open it up. I'm not going to count again. I'm going to count in my head. Um, Give me a thumbs up if you have at least one statement that you can make. If I knew blank, then I could blank. I'm sorry, and can you keep them up just because I did? Okay, I wasn't able to see you all at once. Okay, so it seems like that's everybody. So yeah, anyone can start us off, and of course you can say more than one. But let's maybe start with one from everybody as we find our way into our new routine. Yeah, Hillary, go ahead. Yeah, noticed you just unmuted.
Sure. If I knew how many people could sit in a car, then I could figure out how many people could ride at the same time.
If I knew how many people could fit in the car, then I could figure out how many people. So how, if you did know that number, how could you use it?
So I would multiply that by the number of cars, which I would also have to know. But I feel like I see enough that between counting and an educated guess, I can probably figure that out too.
hmm Cool. Very cool. Thank you.
If I knew how much weight each car could hold, then I could say how much weight the whole Ferris wheel could hold. It would be the same process.
Hmm.
If I knew that the building was exactly symmetrical and could see the rest of the building, then I could figure out how many windows there are.
And so just to, can you say a little bit more? So I'm guessing, so you mean like if this is half the building, if there's another half that looks just like that, is that what you mean by
Yeah,
symmetrical? Cool. Very cool.
but also see the rest of the building because the photo cuts off the building.
Hmm.
So this doesn't quite fit, but I asked how long the wheel, Ferris wheel's been, how old is it? I thought if I know how old it is, I could trust it more. But if we're thinking math, I was thinking maybe if I knew how far the ship or whatever that is, I might know how tall the Ferris wheel is. I could figure that out maybe.
If you knew how
Can you
far
say,
away the ship is, you could figure out how tall
And
the
if I knew,
Ferris wheel
of
is.
course, I have to know how tall it is too. Maybe not.
so if you knew how tall and how far away the tower slash ship is, you would be able to figure out the height of the Ferris wheel? Was that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Okay, maybe I like that.
Yeah, maybe is good. But I was
I'm cu
thinking about how old it was too, so I could say if I knew what year it was built, then I could figure out how old it is.
Ah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Or if I knew how old it was, I could tell you what year it was built.
Hmm.
Any other? And you can, like I said, you can use those questions as a guide, like to help you think about quantities that you might know and that you could find. But
Well,
again, not limited.
I'll add mine since I threw out the circumference. If I
Mhm.
knew the circumference of the Ferris wheel, then I could know what the radius is. Or if I knew what the radius is, then I could know what the circumference is.
Cool. Can we do one of those at a time? So if you knew what the circumference is, or which yeah, if you knew what the circumference was, then you could find the radius. How would you do it?
Well, I'm pretty sure you said don't pretend we're our students. Well, okay, so I would use a formula and
Yeah,
I
that's
would
fine.
I would solve for R in the formula.
So what formula would you use?
Circumference is equal to twice the radius times pi, which I love that the radii are essentially the spokes. These are called spokes. What are those things? Spokes.
I think so. I mean, maybe that's the name that I would. You mean these things, right?
The,
Yeah, that's what I understood them to be.
or as my daughter would call them, the thingy wingies.
And then so you would use so it's I'm guessing, but because you said it both ways. So if you knew the radius, you would use the formula. So you would double it and then multiply it by pi to find the circumference.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Any other statements?
I will throw in one more because someone mentioned about the height. Same thing
Hmm.
though. If I knew the height of the Ferris wheel, then I could also figure out the circumference and or the radius.
Hmm. How would you do that?
Well, because the height would be the diameter. So then I'd still use the formula d times pi equals c, or c equals d times pi. So if I knew the height of the Ferris wheel, I could figure out the radius and circumference too.
Then vice versa. If you knew the circumference, you could figure out. Okay, cool. I'm looking at
I
the
was just
questions.
adding, wait, oh, I lost it. If I If I knew how long it takes to go around once, I could figure out how fast it's turning.
I like that one.
Say that one more time for me.
If I knew how long it takes to go around once, I could figure out how fast it's turning.
Ooh. Does someone else, not Aaron? Aaron, hold that thought. Does someone want to take a guess at what Aaron might be thinking? If Aaron's saying if they knew how long it takes to go around once, they could tell how fast the thing is turning. Does anyone
And
does
if
anyone agree?
we would need to
Yeah,
know the distance too.
yeah, say Emily, thank you. Say more.
Um, well, I guess the circumference, like the distance, like one rotation, how far it's going.
So if you knew how far it goes and how long it goes, then you would be able to figure out its speed.
Mm, I guess.
Aaron, having heard Emily say that, do you feel like you need the, do you think you can do it without? Do you
I
think you do
do, but
read?
I think it depends on what kind of an answer I want to the question. Because if I knew how long it took to go around once, I could figure out how fast it was turning in revolutions per second or per minute or per hour, and that would answer my question. But if I wanted to know how fast one of the cars was moving along the edge, I would need more information, like the information Emily was talking about.
Mhm.
So I say yes to both questions. I can do it without it and with it, and I also need it.
I'm
Did we
curious.
tackle the question about the distance? Like I'm just going through the list of all the questions we did we tackle the question about the distance of the ship and or tower?
We haven't yet, but before we get down there, the one that I was just going to ask is how many pods there are on the Ferris wheel. I just want to ask a question about that because when I like some of them are not on it. Like I guess that question could mean two different things. Like one is how many are there? Well, no, I mean I guess no, it means one thing. It's how many pods there are. There's only, but I don't know. I'm curious what quantities are involved. Like how many pods are there in the Ferris wheel? Is there an if I knew then I could statement that we could make that might help us with that one? Figure out how many pods there are on that Ferris wheel?
If you knew there was the same number of cars between every spoke, then you could know how many pods there are.
If you if we knew that there was the same number of pods in between each spoke. Excellent use. I'm glad, Cynthia, that you asked about spoke because now Hillary used it and I know exactly
The
what she's
shared
talking about.
vocabulary.
So okay, so we've got these two. So keep talking, Hillary, if you could. So like how would you use that information? Because it
So
seems
it looks
like
like,
yeah.
yeah, it looks like there's two in every kind of slice. And I can't see the whole Ferris wheel. But if I knew that what's being blocked by the image looked the same as what I can see, then I could just count the number of pie wedges and multiply that by two.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I see that. And it's funny because it does look like two, and so I appreciate though you're saying if it keeps going because they also like they're not in the same position in between the spokes. Like they're getting a little bit closer, and so like do they something? So I appreciate your if you're drawing attention to the fact that we're making that assumption. Cool. Ooh, Cynthia, and maybe let this be the last statement, but Cynthia wanted to draw our attention to the distance one. Maybe we can all put our brain to that one, like how far away this ship slash tower is from the Ferris wheel. We did have some question. Patricia said, or some version of that statement. Patricia was saying if uh she knew the height of this tower slash ship and the distance from that tower to the Ferris wheel. then she could figure out the height of the Ferris wheel. And I'm wondering if within that kind of relationship that she's seeing, if there's a way to come up with a statement for that for the distance. Um, or if there's another if I knew then I could to figure out that distance. So what do folks think about that?
I'm not really confident I could do that. I just know I was thinking when I was thinking about the distance, I was trying to get a sense of how tall this Ferris wheel is, and I don't know why I focus on that thing in the distance. It would be more helpful to know how tall that building is. Then I could estimate.
I do feel like we could figure out, or at least estimate the height of that, right? Like I want to lean into the
Uh-huh.
Pythagorean theorem there, right? Like if we knew the distance to from like a certain point on the pier to ship slash tower, and then had a zip line that went from the
Right.
top of said tower to person standing on pier, then we could in fact calculate the height of ship slash tower. Which, that's what those like people in the orange vests with the thingies
Right.
on the
Yes,
tripods do.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a quantity. So just to kind of say, make sure that I'm picturing what you're saying, and I'm gonna try to like kind of maybe I'll even draw. Cynthia, what's your favorite color? Remind me.
Lavender, but y'all settle for purple.
How about if I give you lavender? So the distance that you were looking for is the height of this tower. And what I heard you say is that if there was a gentle person dressed in yellow with that equipment that they have for
Mhm.
figuring, if you could figure out the zip line distance from there to there, and the distance from them to the tower itself, then you could use Pythagorean theorem to figure out.
Right.
Okay. So
If I
I'm
knew
that,
the
but
height, if I knew the distance from the person, right? Because those
Right.
surveyor, they're in teams. So one surveyor would be on the pier, one surveyor would be on the ship slash tower, right? So we would be able to know the distance between them. And then yeah, so we could figure out the height.
cool. Anyone have any other ideas about either about the height of the tower slash ship or the distance to the tower slash ship?
But since it's like you're in my mind, because we've been doing Pythagorean theorem, and that's what made me think. So I appreciate that.
Also, because Aaron brought up speed, right? If we had, because in my mind, this is totally near the water, right? Because I see a pier. So if we had someone on a wave runner and then they took their wave runner to the ship,
Right.
we could know their speed and therefore figure out the distance from the pier to the ship.
I don't know what a wave runner is.
Oh,
Is
you've been
that
in
a
Minnesota too long, Mark.
I spent a good 30 plus years in New York and I still don't know what that is. Is it a kind of boat like a jet ski or something?
Aaron, I'll let you give that one since you live closer to the shore than I do.
I don't
Look at
know.
Aaron's
Honestly,
face.
I'm
Aaron has
still
no
trying to
idea
make
either.
sense of the question.
Really?
I've got if I knew the speed of someone on a wave runner to get to the ship, and I don't think that's even what you said. Can
That
you
is what
say?
I said. A
Okay.
wave runner, think of this like a wave runner is like a motorcycle on the water, right? They're like the
Oh, like a
two-handed
jet
things you sit
ski.
on it and they bounce on the water and they go really fast and
Okay.
you have to wear a life vest and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard it called a jet ski. We do have them here. Yeah.
So
Uh,
my version of that question then would be if I walked, because if it's a tower, if it's a ship, then I'm out of luck. And yours, but if I'm a tower, if I walk from here to here, and then I can estimate my stride and then figure out how long it takes me to do it, then I could maybe figure out the distance. But so that's just to Aaron's, if that was the form of Cynthia's statement. If I knew the speed of the wave runner and how long it took to get there, then I could calculate the distance to the ship, is what I heard.
Well, both things we would need to be at a constant rate, right? So my wave runner would need to go at a constant rate and your walking would need to
I
be
am an exceptionally like perfect stride time.
No
Um,
start or anything. Like we just start at 60 miles per hour on the wave runner, and you start at 1 mile per hour or whatever human beings walk.